There was 3 youth clubs around here. One was called OK Club, one was called P3 Navigator, and the other one was here, SKYC. Closed them all down. And the ones that are open, they're for under 12s up to like the age of 16.
London, one of the biggest financial centres of the world.
Well, it's against property, like I say, but it's escalated very quickly now.
It's estimated that over 8.5 million people are living here today, making it the biggest city in Europe. But with that in mind, the mentality for people to dedicate their lives to the streets is on the rise. And a recent statistic shows that over 70% of young people that go to prison will only re-offend.
For society sees you have to live a certain way, you gotta be a certain way.
Well, when they're ready for both again, you see the shit coming to like dominate you like, nigga, shut the fuck up and give up every fucking thing.
Due to a mixture of gun crime, drugs and a lack of motivation for young adults,
people are accusing me like, it's mad like, sometimes you don't even feel like going to college.
I wanted to find out just how fixed the negative mindset was in and around a city that I know better than any other. Over the next few days, I'll meet some people that have managed to break that cycle, one of them being 31-year-old entrepreneur Ayo, who comes from South London. He became a millionaire through property and was keen to share with me his story of the life of crime and temptation that he left behind him. I'm Jay London, and this is Breaking the Cycle.
This is where I was literally born. Like, rather than the hospital, my mum literally gave birth to me on the floor, like in the living room. That was kind of like Ayo's entrance to the world, if you like. And from there, this is kind of what I saw every day, really.
Yes, yeah. So remember me?
Oh
Yeah. Cause you used to have to look kind of Let me see here now. Wow.
How much influence do you feel an estate like this plays to someone's mindset and the cycle that they might find themselves in?
It's everything. It's what kind of shapes you, it's what molds you, and it's what sort of you take in through the retina. It is down to the individual, but generally that's once they get to a certain point. By that point, the whole belief system's been molded. I mean, most people don't even know themselves. Most people go half their life and don't actually really know who they are.
It's good for people to understand that where you are now, this is where you came from. Like you said, you was born on the floor, literally, like in that building there. So would you say that you was caught up in a cycle when you was growing up as a kid?
I don't think you kind of realise you're in the cycle. When you're in the cycle, even if you try to stay positive, sometimes when you're surrounded by certain things, sometimes too hard to kind of go left if everyone's going right. So that kind of impacted me more, like seeing people with, you know, the flashy cars. And
so would you say a lot of people that live in this sort of environment do end up going down the wrong path?
100%. Most of the stuff you're around is negative. So it's not in a case of like people are necessarily negative people. It's not that where I'm coming from. It's just a case of if you grow up in a certain environment, that's definitely going to contribute a massive portion of your mindset, really, and kind of where you go in life.
I'll be spending the next few days with Ayo finding out his story and allowing him to introduce me to some other examples that have broken out from that fixed mindset. But before I could personally accept how easy it was for young people to be led astray, I needed to hear some examples from those that haven't had the right role models. 2 young men that have been victim to their own environment agreed to speak with us, one of which has just been released after spending 6 years in prison.
Mostly, we be hustling, you know what I mean? Run around with a little bag or something. Got a little raw coke in this shit here, if I remember right. You know what I mean? It's quite a little baby piece. It's that raw, call it flick. You know what I mean? This is that heroin. This shit here is a needy shit. So, yeah, when they need that shit, that means they're gonna make money. Their lives was ruined before they met me. Yeah, you don't wanna see what's real again in the fucking hoods before boom, and you see what I'm going to put out on my purse, you see. Bang, as you can see, no fucking joke things, real things in there, you know what I mean? Bam, niggas think they can talk to me, they ain't no one can tell me fucking nothing. I don't need no permission from no fucking boy, if I don't want anybody at. So just in case when they're ready for go off on that thing there, boom, I'm gonna be right here. We had purge before, when they're ready for go again, you see the shit coming to like dominate you like, nigga, shut the fuck up and give up every fucking thing.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, man. Real people don't really want this life. It's just man's lived this life that long, man's even forgotten how well man's living this life. Isn't it, my G?
People don't understand how much money you can make legally these days. It's like there ain't even no point jumping into this game no more. It only benefit a minimum few these days in each area. Let's just think smart. You probably won't be that few. So just stay the fuck out of this shit. Like.
These dogs have got people that love them, though. This is what confuses me. If your mum and your dad loves you, you don't need to be playing outside with the fucking man boys. You get me? Just play outside for a little while. When your mum and dad told you come in, go in, innit? You know what I mean? There's a lot of men out here that think they're on it, whatever that means. Yeah? When it's time to get busy, they disappear in that. They go home, back to their mums and dads. But really, you should have stayed in your house back in the days and grown up to be a normal human being. That's all I'm saying.
Then go read some books. Go learn some law of attraction. Go do some real stuff. Go ahead and you can get anything you want to get. You learn from your mistakes. You know what I mean? Everything's a blessing or a lesson. Even a lesson is a blessing. So it's all good. You see what I'm saying? But please don't trip up on the same shit twice. You heard?
Speaking to these guys was really interesting, as it made me realise that although they knew what they was doing was wrong, they still ended up going down the life of crime, which is a common problem for people in society every single day, and was further proof of how difficult it can be to adjust a moulded mindset. I'd spent a lot of time speaking to young people now and was beginning to see that being a victim of today's society was extremely common. With that in mind, I took a trip to a local college to find out how some of the students felt there.
Like, it's become very easy for anybody to be a drug dealer. It's very easy for anybody to do the wrong thing because everything's just there, everything's available. I am a Muslim and I do wear my headscarf sometimes, and I do that because I would like to be represented as a Muslim. So I would like somebody to look at me and be like, oh yeah, she's a Muslim. Nowadays it's very hard for you to be, first of all, not white and a Muslim.
The school that I went to, I was constantly surrounded by like bad influences and stuff, and then it was like peer pressure to do like stupid things.
The first time I encountered peer pressure was like 5 years ago, with friends like telling me like, yo, you can take a smoke, like there's no problem. So I was like, no, I don't want it. But then after a few days I did, and then I started smoking. I was afraid of not being judged. A lot of young people are influenced by older people because they think that they know better than the youngest.
People just get bored and everything's accessible, like drugs and stuff. There's not really a lot going on where I used to live, so people just get high because there's nothing else to do.
I know a lot of people that are going down the wrong path. Most people don't want to help young people because of the stereotype people have given them, like they're rowdy, rude, and all that.
What if it's Skepta's video? See what I mean?
07481 194 570. Yeah, so what, you think you're the best? You against me, that's a disrespect. Selling you the top boy, still I ain't heard a better mixtape than Black.
The problem was becoming clear. The more time we spent filming this, the more I was beginning to realise just how many young adults were trapped in a negative mindset, clouded by celebrity lifestyles, social media, and all those materialistic things. We took a trip back to Ayo's old area to see how some of the youths are living there today.
There's no jobs, like I've applied for about 30 jobs. I've got through about 0. Like, what do they expect to do? Like, and just because we're in this state, we might get stopped and searched. You can always make up an excuse, like you might smell like weed, even though we've been around no weed at all that day.
How old are you guys now?
I'm 17.
I'm 17 as well.
You're 17. How old is yourself? 17. So what do you guys see yourself doing when? I mean, do you go college? Do you go uni or?
Yeah, currently I go college.
Yeah, I go college as well. I think I'm gonna drop my college and do an apprenticeship. I'm trying to be a boxer. I ain't really feeling them anyway. When I step through, yeah man, it's gonna be sweet.
How about yourself? Do you have any role models or anyone that you're looking up to? It might even just be social media, someone that you follow. No?
People haven't got the right role models. That's what I think, and it doesn't have to be within the glitz and glam world. There's a lot of people that do all sorts of things. If you don't have a role model, I'm not saying you can't end up where you want to end up. I'm just saying that the chances of getting there are going to be much slimmer, and it's going to take you a lot longer.
It's like every day you're getting nicked for some dumbness that you're not even involved. Sometimes it just gets tiring that if people are accusing me, like it's mad. Like sometimes you don't even feel like going to college no more. Because like, it's long sometimes.
It's very easy to drop out. My number one role model is probably Alan Sugar. And that's because he has a similar background to me. He started from nothing and he turned into something.
You might say Alan Sugar's his mentor or his whatever, but how much Alan Sugar is he, and different people like that is he pumping into his head, number one, and second of all, people like that are so far ahead that you can't relate with them. There's nothing wrong with having Alan Sugar as an idol, but I'm just saying you need to backtrack in his journey. Looking at him now, it's like someone looking at Bill Gates and trying to be like Bill Gates. Forget it. You know, you need to find people that you can relate with and that are tangible.
I hate people that play that card, that say, yeah, I'm always getting nicked, or I'm always doing this, or I'm always doing that. But if you're making it easy to, if you look like you should be a person that's getting stopped, if you're carrying yourself in a certain way and you've got that persona, then you're going to get stopped.
But do you think he understands that?
That's what I mean.
And you could see them guys there, they got good in them. I'm not going to lie, they have. But how long is he going to send out CVs before he just gets tempted into something else?
I would say the main challenges, especially for youths growing up, is the mindset. I have a belief system which is wealth starts in your mind and ends in your purse.
It was proving pretty difficult to get people to express the illegal side of things, but it was clear to us that people aged as young as 13 were going down the wrong path. And there was a common factor that kept popping up: council estates. Statistics show that growing up on an estate makes things just that little bit harder to become extremely wealthy. I was very keen to hear how someone from the legal side of the table viewed the mentality in the UK. So the next morning, Ayo introduced me to the next success story. Criminal defence lawyer Antonia knew all about it. After all, she grew up on a council estate just like me before deciding to open up her very own solicitor's firm slap bang in the middle of it. How does it feel sitting on a swing? I bet you didn't think you'd be doing this today, no?
No, I didn't. I didn't think I'd be sitting on the swing. I haven't sat on the swing for ages, but it does bring back memories because I did live around here, and this park was here when I was living around.
How long ago was that, if you don't mind me asking? How far are we going back?
Wow, we're going back about 20 years or so. 25 years.
And it's still here?
And it's still here.
Still standing?
Yeah, it's still standing.
How many cases and how many people do you sort of see in that solicitor's firm that you know from where you grew up?
A lot.
When I saw the troubles of young black boys growing up, at the time they had the sus stop, boys getting stopped, and then thought, you know what, I want to do law, I want to do something to help our community basically. Sometimes around here you get young boys that want to go out and educate themselves, that want to go out and get college. Then you get the elders that will say, you know what, come and work for me and you'll get more money. The young boys will say, no, I don't want to. And the elders might say, you know what, just go and do this first trip for me. You get caught in doing it, then you've got no choice to continue doing it. That's how you get trapped in that environment.
Which one was yours?
Right, so there it is, number 14.
Just there, okay,
yeah,
what this,
there.
for that first
And that was my bedroom window over there. When we first came, actually, it was really, and we opened up. You see that same guy I said hello to, he's like, oh, do you think it's all criminals that that live around here, that you've come to open your firm? How dare you? We're not all criminals. And a couple of old residents that lived there, and they said to him, stop there. She's been living here longer than you have ever lived here. You lived here about 5 years. This girl has grown up here. You know what I mean? And as far as we're concerned, she's coming back to the community to help the community. He started apologising. And he's my best friend now. They think rapping may get quick money because as soon as they think you've got a hit, a single, you're going to get millions, don't they? Footballers, as soon as you start kicking a ball, basically, they think they're going to earn millions. It's easier to sing than educate yourself. It's easier to play football than educate yourself. And if they can get a break in doing football, why should they study 5 years of doing law when they can kick a ball around and get millions?
What they say to me sometimes, why should I work as hard as you when I could earn what you earn in a month? I could earn it in a week. They've always portrayed, I think, on TV, black people as drug dealers, pushers, and that is where they earn their money from. Instead of, why should I go and educate myself when I can go and do something which is far more easier? Well, it's not, because by the time you get caught, you serve a sentence, your life is ruined again. And I always say that to them, you've got to think of the long term not the fast term.
I try to advise my clients and I say to them, well, really, is it really worth it? Look where you are now, you're in prison. Is it really worth it? I said, you know, you want to live a glamorous lifestyle, buying Louis Vuitton, buying Gucci, buying this, right? I said, don't you realise these people are far more richer than you will ever be? And I said, instead of you buying their stuff, why don't you educate your offspring, you know, your daughter, your son, and they can be the next lawyer, they can be the next doctor, they can be the next professional person growing up. Do you understand? Break the cycle. Look at the other communities that are selling also. They invest their money wisely, don't they? You don't see them hyping on YouTube, singing rubbish. You don't see them with their Gucci belts and their Rolex watches wheeling around like that. They keep it on a low key, don't they?
A lot of women, a lot of girls now, their mums and dads was dysfunctional, so they haven't been told about certain things like how their period cycles are running, and they don't understand nothing. They don't know who they are, the power within them. They don't even understand about birth. They're just breeding for some random guys. They don't understand about the whole cycle of how things go. Random people shouldn't be having sex with you. They don't understand the power. When they start understanding the power within them, everything will change. Look for mentors. Yeah, look, I said to the guys as well, people that are doing well around you, who do you see as doing well? Go and find them, go and speak to them. See what routines they're doing, what they're doing, and what can they teach you, what can you learn from them. Know it starts with you. You can't go outside, you have to go in first.
I'm trying to get man over the phone like I'm in jail, fam. Nah, bro, I can't, bro. Man's living that favelas life, rude, boy. You can't come to the favelas and film the favelas, fam. There's beer man that want to say things, fam. Man like me don't want to say nothing, man. I'm not on them. Well, why has he got man in the road like that? I'm not on them things, there. What's your man, cuz? I can't do it, bro.
You definitely don't want to do nothing, even on the phone?
Nah, cuz I even want to talk over the phone, cuz.
Alright, let me call you back.
It's crazy, man. So basically we're in Clapham now, and what we're going to try and do is speak to some more young people, which is proving quite difficult because, as you can imagine, no one really wants to like expose their business on camera. So all we really want to do is just get a bit of an outlook of what it's like growing up in this sort of area environment, which people like myself and people around me would know, but a lot of people watching this may not know. So fingers crossed we'll be able to speak to a couple more guys or girls even. Who knows?
Sorry if they keep you here. They don't want to do it.
They're not doing it?
They just don't want to put my folks on camera. They don't want it. It's serious. They just don't want to do it.
Are they happy to be filmed without saying anything? Just to be in it?
No.
No, not even that.
No, bro, I don't think you know. I don't think you know how it is.
Wow.
It's yeah, I mean, it's just trying to be different, and that's what I'm about, really. Aaron, you want to be on TV? Come.
If it wasn't clear before, it was pretty obvious now that environments play a big influence to how someone thinks. The last person that Ayo wanted to introduce me to was James Ruben. He was the owner of recycling company Envirowaste and on target to turn over 2.7 million this year. I was interested to hear how someone raised by both parents from a slightly more privileged background founded their own business despite failing 6 other times and dropping in and out of education since the beginning of secondary school.
We grew up in an area where we weren't. It's a very nice area and it's quite a wealthy area, but we're always on the other side. So my mum's friends and who we surrounded ourselves with had money.
Okay.
So I always aspired to be
like them.
Yeah, it's quite nice. So yeah, as you can see.
What happens in here then?
What happens in here? So these things have reusable value, and stuff will be tested to make sure it works, to find out if there's a problem, why isn't it working, buy parts, make it back, make it reusable. He's looking over.
So your story is really cool. It's really interesting because you've made a lot out of yourself from not doing much education. I mean, you said yourself you got kicked out from school, kicked out from college, kicked out from uni. You was quite a rebel. How important do you feel education is then for people that are sort of coming up in the system?
It depends how you define education. Yeah, it's great if it's going to teach you to read, write, do maths, the basic stuff. Unless you're going to be a doctor, unless you're going to be a lawyer, you don't need higher education, in my personal opinion. I don't know how many, I think it's 80% of people, their careers are not actually linked to their degree. So what they've learned in that lead up to being 21, to the point they come out of
nothing to
uni, it's got nothing to do with what. So is that a waste of time? As I say, unless you're going to be a lawyer or a doctor, I don't think it's worth it.
A lot of people, maybe your parents might, encourage you to follow that road. But if you've got something else inside you that wants to live above certain means, then I believe that might not be the best solution. You might need to seek alternative education rather than the mainstream education.
I owe a lot to the way that I was conditioned as a child to my parents.
It sounds like you had a really understanding mum. If she's anything like my mother, it will be a thing like, well, you've done wrong, you shouldn't have done that, but it's not the end of the world, you can still do this.
Oh yeah.
And I think a lot of people, again, they don't have that.
And my dad was very caring from the heart, so I have both of those qualities.
Everyone is in a cycle. Whether you're in a council estate, there's low employment, crime, there's a lot of drug dealing. Some Asian families, they're in a cycle of arranged marriages and conforming to the tradition. You need to be aware of the cycle you're in and understand that it's your decision to be trapped in that cycle. But I could have easily gone down the route of go to school, work hard, get a job, work hard, and then be stuck in that rat race.
I don't feel like you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth by any means necessary. But what I want to know from you is, if you was born in, I don't know, an estate in South London or North London, just your mum maybe, no father, around people that are committing crimes, maybe selling drugs, getting caught up in trouble, police getting randomly stop searched, do you feel you would have had the same mindset or ambition to be where you are today?
It's a lot harder, I agree. But for me, the way I see it is with anything, the harder something is, the better you get. Which is why we find a lot of people that are successful come from the bottom, because they have the resilience. So don't ever think that, and now I'm a victim of my situation, a victim of my condition, and a victim of my circumstances. That's not right. You can do whatever you want, and because it's harder, you'll become better.
Speaking to James was very inspiring, and although his struggles growing up were very different to some of the other people we've spoken to, he'd come from a circle that was arguably just as hard. I'd reached the end of my journey identifying just how many people in London are a victim of today's society. And coming from a similar environment myself, I was aware before filming this just how easy it was for young minds to be led astray. But after spending a few days speaking to those trapped in and out of a cycle, I now understand why. Before I left Ayo, he wanted to do one final thing that involved giving back to the community. He invited us along to a surprise that he had prepared personally for a local charity in South London. The Brixton Soup Kitchen, which was ran by the hugely respected Solomon. Another example of someone who went left when everyone around him could have easily made him go right.
What we decided to do is, rather than basically giving the charity a donation, we thought that we'd get their car wrapped. So just a little bit more longevity, and so they can get some exposure. I'm sure they're going to be gassed up as well, so yeah. We're going to park this up for the night and surprise them tomorrow morning or afternoon with the car and see what their thoughts are. So yeah, let's just see what happens.
I was a lonely man, you can find me downtown, playing blues songs for anybody that comes around. Now they hear me sing, they want to come around.
Oh, you see the from outside? That's crazy. Crazy. Brother, this way. Crazy. I'm doing okay. That is look, he's like, property. It's nothing I can say, bro. Like, I'm proper speechless. Like, this is the vision I've always wanted a car wrap to be, and you guys made it happen. Like, totally speechless. All I can just say is, thank you guys very much for believing in us
and making this dream happen. A lot of people have different dreams. This is the dream that I want. Yeah, it's great.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
But yeah, I feel good, to be honest. It's just another one of those things that everyone, I guess, should be doing. Hopefully they feel even better.
It's all about feelings. Yeah, everything to me is about feelings. If you feel good, you're successful. As crazy as that may seem, people experience that at one point or another in their life.
This is what people forget, and then this is what I was forgetting. See, when you see those movies, and when they go to jail, you say 10 years later, you gotta go for that for real. Lose your friend for real, see your mum crying for real, and then you got to go to prison, and you might go to prison for the rest of your life.
Not always, to follow fashion. Instead of be a follower, always be a leader. And that's what I say to my daughter all the time.
You just have to remember, you could always lose everything in a day. Yeah, whole life can go upside down in one day.
You decide whether you break that cycle or not. You decide whether you're a victim or creator.
Imagine that. Never gave a shit, now I'm giving back.
When I leave college, I would like to be a photographer and a filmmaker.
Thinking about the youth that I've taken.
When I leave college, I want to do an apprenticeship in
I remember coming home to my bags. The door wasn't on the latch.
When I leave college, I would want to do something to do with media, whether that's passion or presenting. Kind of open to a lot of things.
Before I turn this to a rap, I was a lonely man, you can find me downtown. Playing blues songs for anybody that comes around. Now they hear me sing, they want to come around. I've been waiting long for the sun to shine down.